All right, there's the beautiful mosque here, Hagia Sophia. Up until July, actually, this was a museum, and it recently was designated as a mosque again. We're going to go inside, but currently we're waiting for the call to prayer because we noticed the other day when we were on our walking tour, they'll start to evacuate everyone out maybe like 20 minutes before the call to prayer, and they vacuum the huge carpet that's been laid down in there, which you'll see here in a second. And that way the floors are clean when the worshipers come in. But we're just sitting here. I looked up the time for call to prayer. Maybe you can do the same on the internet. If I can remember, I'll leave a link to a site that shows you the time of call to prayer in relation to the day that you are visiting. So that way you'll know not to show up right when the call to prayer is going to happen, because you'll have to wait anyway. But very beautiful park here. Just sitting here waiting. So I came a little bit out of the way. We had to use the restroom. There's a pay to use restrooms here and there. There's actually one inside the walls of the Blue Mosque that's free there, that they enter from the other side, I believe. But otherwise, just here, there's a, if you see this building here, it's a pay to use, and it's 1 lira, which is roughly 13 cents USD. But here's this beautiful fountain that would be used for ablution, and the worshippers will go through their ritual to cleanse themselves before they enter into the mosque to do their worshiping. But I just kind of wanted to cover some of this beautiful mosaic work under here. Do you remember what the guy's signature was? The name?
Fatih.
Fatih, that guy. That should be his signature there. And calligraphy.
Which I learned is means conqueror.
But look at these beautiful columns. Just this amazing mosaic work. But yeah, we're gonna head over there and get inside now that the call to prayer is done. And we got some information written down, so we'll kind of cover some facts for you guys and just show you the beautiful visuals inside there. Like I was saying, it was a museum up until July of 2020. And yeah, so what's beneficial for tourists in general is that you used to have to pay a fee to enter, and now that it's a mosque, it's free to enter, and you just have to go through like a security checkpoint at the door, which is actually, I lost my pocket knife when we came here the other day. I had it in my backpack, just clipped in there. I don't think it's a big deal to carry a knife in general, but since we passed, no, thank you. Thank you, you as well. But since we passed the security checkpoint and they saw it, they did take it and they did keep it. They didn't rifle through my bag, so if you have like a small pocket knife or something to that effect, a lot of people carry like a small pocket knife only for utility. Just kind of tuck it down in one of your pockets so it can't be seen, because they won't rifle through there. They're just looking for, you know, particular larger weapons, and you shouldn't have any issue. But I just wanted to mention that. So here's the entry. Actually, where we've just passed through is where the police stopped and searched us the other day, so I guess it's kind of dependent on the time of the day. It looked like they were off to the side there, kind of getting their little shade ramada set up. Here's a beautiful bath just here outside, as I was saying, for ablution. But there's a beautiful beautiful mosaic just as you enter in the door here. Now you have to cover your head, so as you can see, Rachel's getting her scarf prepared there.
I looked at a tutorial online.
Let's see.
See if it'll help me.
See how you do.
You have to lift this up, wrap this one under first. Oh my goodness. And then this one around. Look, it's already messed up. I don't know what I'm doing.
Anyway, women need to cover their head before they enter in, and then also when you enter in, you need to remove your shoes, and there's a bunch of cubbies and carpet that you will walk along then to enter into the main body of the building. Get this mosaic as we enter here. So the mosque is was at one time a church, a Christian church, so you'll see Christian imagery as well as Islamic imagery, mosaics and shapes and things of that nature. Alright, so I'm going to try to keep my voice low so I don't piss anyone off, but we're going to kind of just wander around and get different images as we go. We got a bunch of different facts, and we'll try to find those facts as we go along, or at least we'll try to find the where the locations inside the mosque are in relation to the facts that we found. Here's a Christian imagery here. I believe that's a Jesus, huh?
Yeah, so that's it's Jesus obviously in the chair, and the guy bowing down is Justinian, and Justinian is the guy who had the church built. And what it's supposed to be, I guess, is him prostrating himself to ask blessing on his church. But what the locals believe is that Justinian was married 5 times, and the church will only give you 2 marriages, a blessing for 2 marriages. He wanted to be married 5 times, so they wouldn't give him a blessing. So they say that this is him begging God for forgiveness for his 5 marriages.
Mm-hmm. All right, so as you can see here is the cubbies for the shoes, and there's a carpet here. You don't stand on the carpet. You take your shoes off, then you step on the carpet, you put your shoes, and then you follow the carpet along into the main entrance just by these grand doors here, which are just awesome. And yeah, you stash your shoes, and you know, everyone respects everyone, and no one snatches anyone's shoes as far as I know. All right, everyone remember where we parked. We're gonna head in here. I'm gonna spin this camera around and kind of spin around and give you the reveal as we enter in here.
Not only is all the mosaic and the tile work beautiful, but even just these slabs of marble. They look at the wall and look at these different colored marble slabs in there. They're just beautiful.
And they came from all over, as a lot of things did in the ancient world. They were just brought from all over the globe. I can't specifically remember any locations from our tour, but you know, these pieces of marble would have come from the quarries that had the finest marble of the time or whatever. And go ahead.
Our guide told us that they would cut them with a thread of silk and
like sand and water.
Mm-hmm. And it was very painstaking. It took many days.
Right. And as you can see, there's a mix of Christian imagery and imagery from Islam. Just seen a bird fly by. I was pointing out in my video the other day when we were on our free walking tour, there's actually a big pink teddy bear balloon up there.
He's holding strong.
Yeah, for sure. It's a little grainy, but as you can see as I zoom out, it's quite a ways up there. So as you can see here, there's a separate side here where there's a bunch of women worshiping. And these women are worshiping on this side because it's basically segregated. And they were saying, or we watched a special and it was saying a lot of it is not necessarily because of the religious belief, but that the women actually feel more comfortable worshiping separate. As you can imagine, the getting up and getting down and bending over and squatting, they probably want a little bit of privacy and probably don't want a male right behind them, I'm assuming, which I can respect that.
So I found, if you look just above where they're praying, you can see this beautiful Muslim imagery, but just behind it you can see the faded cross right here.
Oh yeah, it's kind of see it. Yeah.
And it looks like there's a lot of water staining there too, maybe, but if you look, you can see it.
Right, I'm thinking like...
See the one up in the center too? It's much more obvious.
Yeah, there we go. But this one you can kind of see here, like that, and then there. But here she's saying is the old Christian imagery that was covered by the mosaics and the Islamic imagery.
So these urns are the oldest thing actually in the building. They were from somewhere else and they were gifted to the mosque, but they are 2nd century BCE, and they were carved from a single stone of marble, and they hold, of course, water. You would wash your hands and things before you pray.
Yeah, it looks like they'd be also used for ablution, I'd guess, huh?
Right.
There's another one over there. We'll go over and check it out as well. It's a bit larger. These lamps are just amazing here. I really love them. just kind of leave this running as we go so you can just kind of get an idea. So unfortunately the level up there is closed for restoration. I was told that there was a beautiful mosaic up there. Unfortunately, we will not be able to see it. So here's that second large marble vase. It's quite a bit larger actually if I stand here and I show you the two. So here's this one here. I guess this one's kind of covered now, but you can kind of see it's a bit smaller. Even from the distance of course it appears smaller, but it's significantly smaller. Let me go over here real quick. It says 1574 through 1595 it was brought here. From the Hellenistic period. I really love the geometric shapes that are throughout the Islamic world. It's quite a beautiful sight to see. Here's some more of those Christian imagery kind of showing through over the newer mosaics here. I wanted to point out this is the opposite side. So back on the far side here is where I was showing you where the women will worship. But on this side is also a segregated portion. But what I was trying to point out is that they've left the original marble floor uncovered here. So up until July, the entire building was marble floored like that. But when they redesignated it as a mosque, they put this huge green carpet back down for the people to then come and kneel on. What was the thing you were telling me about people have to have their own worshiping carpet?
Oh yeah, so you can see these little like blue designated stickers on the floor. Normally those aren't there. That's just a COVID precaution. And you have to bring in your own carpet to lay on.
As well as your head dress?
Yes. Yeah, so typically they would have, they would provide you a head covering if you did not have one for the ladies. But it is not recommended now, obviously, because of the current situation.
Yeah, so little adjustments they've had to make here during the pandemic. In this area here, I'm not sure what's just there. Obviously, it's covered due to restoration, but looks like just some more lamps and maybe some type of worshiping site there. I'm, of course, ignorant to what it is, but I'm just kind of guessing. The main body's pretty open, and there's not a lot of like nooks and crannies to explore, but there's certainly a lot of different things to see if you kind of just look around. It's just interesting little mosaics and stuff. Again, I was saying all the different shapes. Let's go over here. What you got? Some more facts for us?
I do.
Let's go over here.
Yeah.
Do you have anything about how the imagery and how they're able to worship with it in here?
So normally in the Islamic faith, you cannot worship in front of a figure, of any image. That's why they don't have any imagery in their artwork, and it's all the geometric shapes. But what they've done is, because this was a Christian church for so long, for longer than it was a mosque, is they have covered the imagery. Up there is right there. No, I'm over here, babe. Right there.
Oh, here, I see. Yeah.
So you can see these cloths hung up. So they've done that to just cover the images so that people can pray over there.
And that was Christ there, no?
I think it's Mary, maybe.
With the baby Christ?
Maybe.
Little baby Jesus?
I kind of forget.
I think it is, if I can see correctly. We'll go over there and double check ourselves.
But you can see here in the corners of the dome, the four corners, there are cherubs. And apparently, since cherubs are not human images, that they felt that was okay to leave up. I don't know what your
I believe
feelings
that's what it was, yeah.
are on that, but you can also see some of their faces are still covered. Only one of them has a face that's uncovered. The rest of them, their faces are covered.
And all of this was covered by mosaics and stuff at one point, but
Yes.
was uncovered, correct?
Correct. Yeah, it was either plastered over or painted over, or just simply taken out and destroyed.
So here's a really beautiful slab of this marble that they've left uncovered.
Look at this detailing too. Look at that, just beautiful.
Yeah, that's really neat that they left that uncovered. Let's see. A little view. We're more towards the front here. A little view back towards where we were.
So all of these big medallions that you see, they were added in the 1840s by a world-renowned calligrapher, and they say, one of them says Allah, one of them says Muhammad, one of them has the name of the first 4 caliphs of the mosque, and the other 2 are the grandsons of Muhammad.
Nice.
And if you look, so this place is really, not only is it religiously significant, but architecturally it's significant. Because of what's called a pendantive. So if you see where these cherubs are, these like, triangular columns, so those were built to support such a large dome. And it's the first time in the history that it was ever done in its entirety. There were some people that tried it before, but it was never done like this. And initially, this place has been destroyed many times by earthquakes and fires. The dome was too heavy, so they had to rebuild it with lighter materials and add these windows in. Can you see the windows?
At the top there?
Yeah, exactly. Those windows had to be added in to help cut down on the weight so that earthquakes wouldn't destroy it.
So I can hear these guys kind of chipping away at something with maybe like a chisel and a hammer. Must be the restoration work that they're doing. Hear that? They're kind of chipping away at something. Some beautiful stained glass here. Few people worshiping here. Some more of this beautiful stained glass here. So yeah, we did see that was an image of Mary with the baby Jesus just behind there. Off from the side you can see a little better. So yeah, it's interesting that they covered it so that the worshippers wouldn't be under an image of mankind, but they still left it fairly uncovered, I think. I don't know what's there because that one's pretty covered, but certainly can appreciate that they didn't cover it completely or mosaic over it or anything like that.
So you notice this image here.
This image
so
here.
bad at that, thanks. Is what's known as a Mihrab, and what it does is it signifies where east is, and all mosques are built to face east so that they face towards Mecca, which is the resting place of Muhammad. But you notice it's off-center here because when it was built as a church, and so they had to add it later and kind of off-center it to match the east direction.
Nice.
And he was the one who would be responsible for turning the Orthodox Church into a mosque.
Alright, I'm going to shoot this portion from over here because if I remember correctly, when you walk out there's a divider and you actually can't come over to this side, but if you see this column here, Rachel wanted to tell us.
So that's known as the weeping column, and it's actually wet, and so it's said to be, the tears of I don't know, somebody. But if you touch it, which is why you can see that area where it's kind of caved in and polished up, it's all wrapped with lead or copper. But over the centuries, people have been touching it, and, you know, wishing or praying on it, and it's supposed to have supernatural powers.
So it's supposed to be like condensated or?
Right. So it is interesting to note that one of the restorations had to be done because the roof was leaking and actually groundwater was coming up through the floors. And it was getting wet through the floor, so maybe it's actually a remnant of that and not supernatural. Just saying.
Interesting.
So we've just come out of the Hagia Sophia Mosque, and you can see here on the ground these remains here, and these are actually from the second time it was rebuilt. Back when it was still a church, it was actually rebuilt 3 times, and every time was due to rioting and fires. But people do say, or the legend has it, that people are really happy about that because of the beautiful environment that they do have now.
All right, guys, we just finished our tour there inside, our little self-guided tour. Got all that information for you guys. Hope you enjoyed it. We did have a couple of facts left that we wanted to cover. I'm probably just going to stand here and record this imagery in the background while Rachel goes ahead and reads them off for you.
Okay, so this is the third. There were 3 churches actually built here. The first one was built in 360 by Constantinian, who was Constantine the Great's son. Constantine is the founder of Constantinople, or Istanbul, where we are. The second one was finished in 415 and built by Theodosius. Both of those first 2 churches were burned down during riots. And the third church is what we know as Hagia Sophia right now, and it actually lasted as a Christian church for 916 years. It was a mosque for 485 years. And then for 65 years, a brief period, it was actually a Catholic church. When I am saying church, it's an Eastern Orthodox church. And then it was 85 years after as a museum. And then for the last 3 months, it has been a mosque again. Now, it was converted to a museum when the Republic of Turkey was formed by Ataturk in the 1930s. It's called Hagia Sophia, and Sophia is not referring to Saint Sophia in any way. Sophia is actually the Greek translation for wisdom, and the church was dedicated to the wisdom of God. So that I thought was pretty neat. And another interesting fact was this mosque, or this place, it was a church at the time I'm referring to, it was actually seen as the start of what they call the East-West Schism, which is where the Catholic Church and the Eastern Orthodox Church split from each other.
All right, guys, so that's about all we had as far as information. Thanks for coming along on our little journey here. We're gonna hope to get some more views of this beautiful city as we have about a week left here before we move on to another portion of Turkey. But thanks for coming along, as I said, and